Welcome to 2025. I'm Vaughn Wilson, and for HBCU Game Day, thank you for starting your year off with us. We've got a special show to kick things off. We've got two special guests, two members of the 2025 class of the Black College Football Hall of Fame. We're talking about Jay Walker of Howard University and Jacquay Nunnally of Florida A&M University. We're also going to dig into an HBCU coach who was just inducted into the American Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame. Plus, a special story on an HBCU football player turned cowboy. We've got that full story. We were able to visit with them. And finally, we'll close out with one of the hottest people in all the United States and possibly the world. Roy Wood Jr. has a special on CNN, his comedy skit show, Have I Got News for You, has been renewed. Plus, on January 17th, his comedy special will air on Hulu. All right, let's start things off with a member of the 2025 class of the Black College Football Hall of Fame, Howard University's own Jay Walker. HBCU Game Day, and what a special guest we have. A former All-MEAC quarterback, a Player of the Year in the MEAC. He set so many records when he was playing with the Bison. Jay Skywalker is now about to be inducted into the Black College Football Hall of Fame. Jay, how you doing today, man?
Man, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Every time I hear people kind of rattle off those accomplishments and what's to come, getting inducted to the Black College Hall of Fame, my shoulders kind of relax and struggle a bit. Like, man, okay, once upon a time, I guess I was a pretty good football player.
No, I remember I witnessed that. You were beating up on the Rattlers pretty good during that time, so I had a front row seat of seeing your greatness. Like, man, that guy can throw. I hate playing against him. But as the years went on, and you were drafted by the Patriots, and at some point I thought, man, maybe he need to try back to baseball, because I do know you were a pretty good baseball player.
Yeah, that was my first love. Baseball. I was drafted out of high school by the Angels, did a season of minor league baseball. But then, football, once football got in my blood, I knew it in high school. The high school I went there for baseball. But then when I played football, it was, love at first sight. And plus, baseball don't have cheerleaders, man. So you never really seen a football player that can play baseball. You never see him go baseball. Most of them go football route. So I'm no different than that.
Well, I know the big man on the Howard set was not a baseball player. It was the quarterback.
It was, and I think about, I'll give this credit to FAMU, my first year at Howard, we went down to FAMU. Y'all did the clock trick on us, so we lost to FAMU. But then the next year, I remember playing them, and they come up to DC, and that was a rivalry. And the score is like, I'm feeling pretty good because we have 13-6, and then my coaches got on me. I'm like, well, I've never been yelled at in the locker room at halftime for winning. They're like, no. We got to do more. You got to cut the head off this snake right here. And then once we did that, and I think we might have beat y'all like 30 to 13 or something like that, which is pretty unheard of for Howard putting that type of offense on Howard, on FAMU. After that game there, the coaches kind of believed in me, and then I got that belief in myself, and I was like, we could be on to something special here at Howard right now. So I give the Rattlers credit for that. Y'all made me a better quarterback.
Well, Jay, after college, you've gone on to a great career with ESPN. Everybody might be wondering about your surroundings. You told me about them, and we know you travel around broadcasting. So we want to thank Jay. He's about to do a broadcast for a playoff game, but he happened to stop in his hotel room just to speak with us as we want to celebrate him and bring him on HBCU Game Day to talk about a future, very near future, Black College Football Hall of Famer. When you got the call, what went through your mind, Jay?
Man, I was actually walking to the gym with my son. We were going to see a Howard basketball game. One of his high school teammates plays for Howard now. We were just walking, and then they did it right. Coach Wilson, my coach at Howard, he called me to talk to me about something that, I'm going to pick up the phone every time he calls. And he's like, well, I need to know. I might have another name I got to ask you about. Make sure you pick up. And I'm like, all right, cool, coach. I'll pick up for you anytime. So he called me, and it was him and Shaq Harris on the phone. So, Shaq's my godfather. They did it together. They did it the right way. And they say, hey, Jay, I'm thinking they're calling me to ask me about, some Legacy Bowl names, stuff like that. And they're like, no, we're calling to let you know that you've been inducted to the Black College Football Hall of Fame. And I just stopped in the middle of the street and just told my son, like, Jewel. So I said, I got in. I got in the Black College Football Hall of Fame. So the way they tied together where I was on Howard's campus at the time, and I don't go there often. And my son was with me and got to hug it out with him. And the delivery, it just dropped me. It floored me. I'm sitting there trying to watch a basketball game. I'm like, man, I'm going in with some legends.
I've been to that ceremony, and I will be there to see you go in, along with some other great friends that I have going in Jacquay Nunnally and Rasheem Mathis. So it's a great class this year, and they do it first rate. So I'm looking forward to witnessing you donning your jacket and taking that walk and going down and accepting your award as one of the all-time HBCU greats. When you look at, last time I went, Joe Taylor was going in, and Too Tall. I'm sitting there in the reception with Too Tall Jones, and he's just sitting there telling jokes the whole time, and I'm like, I never knew Too Tall liked to be the jokester. He always looked mean on the field, and you get to see all these other people that are legends, and that's what the Black College Football Hall of Fame is made for, legends. And now your name will be etched in that in just a few weeks.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound political, but I'm doing this for Howard University. I mean, my teammates deserve all the credit. I mean, they deserve all the credit. Now, I don't mean to be cliche, on and off the field. They took a California boy, accepted him, allowed me to grab the keys to the Batmobiles, I like to say, and trusted me with a lot. And so I think, and we put, and it's a MEAC award too. It's a MEAC award. I mean, I'm the second person from Howard to ever go into the Hall of Fame. We think we've been playing good football for a while in the MEAC. And I think, this is showing that during that period of the 90s, I mean, Howard University was on the map. And we did a lot of good things. So I'm accepting this one on behalf of my coach and all those players. And, and you mentioned the class I got going in, I think it's a good job for the Black College Hall of Fame to recognize that we had some ballers in that 90s. I mean, you played in the 90s, it was guys in the SWAC, it was guys in the MEAC, all up and down. I mean, Earl Holmes, Terry Mickens, the boy Edwards that played linebacker at North Carolina A&T, the lineman there, the running backs, Murray. It's so many people. There's so many people, but in the MEAC we tried to represent. We had a pretty good run, and I think it's rightfully so that my rival got in, and now his rival got in. So Aaron McNair went in, and now I'm going in there to join them. So rest in peace, Aaron McNair.
Well, the good thing about what you said, Jay, is this is HBCU Gameday, and a lot of our audience are HBCU related. So you don't need to apologize for accepting this on behalf of your team. That's what HBCUs do. We take in people from different walks of life, and they become part of the family. As soon as you put on those pads, you became a part of that Bison family, but you also became a part of the HBCU family with every other HBCU. We were joking, Roy Wood and I were joking that, it's interesting how all of us were pulling for Eddie George and Tennessee State like we were big blue tigers, And that's what HBCU cost you. I was screaming at the TV, and that's the beauty of HBCUs. We fight hard for our own, but in situations like this, we are all unified.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember being a rookie, getting drafted by the Patriots, and some of the veterans came and got me. It was three names that you all are going to know, because if it was Ben Coates, it was Maurice Hurst, and it was Vincent Brown. And they came and grabbed me. They were like, first of all, man, we didn't even know Howard had a football team, but Howard got a quarterback too. We're going to make sure you tight. You're going to represent us, and it's all HBCU love. And then every year when you played, all the HBCU guys, when I was with the Vikings, me and Jake Reed from Grambling, Poncho Glover, Charles Evans from Clark Atlanta, we always say that, we love our alma maters, but we love HBCU, the brand and the product, even more. So that's clear to this day, and I think it still holds true.
Well, Jay, you've done a great job as an ESPN analyst, covered a lot of HBCU football over the years. You've seen some great players come and go. If you had to choose one player to say that was the greatest player to witness since you've been covering football, what name?
Can I give you two?
Give me two. Give me two.
We'll keep it a MEAC and we'll keep it a SWAC, so we'll keep it fair. Tariq Cohen. I mean, Tariq Cohen was boy wonder. I mean, at North Carolina A&T, he was absolutely boy wonder. SWAC, I want to give you offense and the defense. I know I'm splitting hairs. Robert Mathis was a bad boy at Alabama A&M. I mean, he was a bad boy there. But I'm gonna say the guy, I gotta say that cover. I mean, Bruce Eugene. I mean, Bruce Eugene was just remarkable. I mean, he should have won the Peyton Award, for the National Player of the Year. That run he had there, those Grambling teams there, and he was, Bruce Eugene, Robert Mathis. Which one you taking out of those?
Oh, man. Golly, don't put me on that spot. No, that's not easy. I'm actually agreeing with you. Both of those guys were just game changers. Anytime a play happened, they could change the game.
Yeah, and I would say if I wanted to go defense in the MEAC, since you let me go offense and defense, then I would go. God, I'm making it tough again. I was going to say Davius Leonard, but then I seen Javon Hargrave dominate games. But I'd probably get a nod to Shaq Leonard over Hargrave just by a smidge.
Ooh, boy, it wasn't easy to run against South Carolina. Buddy Pugh had some dogs upon dogs. You did not want to be a running back, and you definitely didn't want to be a receiver catching the ball across the middle with them guys out there.
Oh, yeah, they kept the defense in Orangeburg. They kept the defense.
Yeah. Well, Jay, we're really proud of you. Thanks for taking a moment between your busy schedule and dodging the snow and all that kind of stuff to peek in with us to start off the year. We want to start off with a bang, so we brought in the big dogs on this first show of 2025. We're really proud of you. Continue your great job of coverage and uplifting HBCUs.
Oh, man, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I do, and that's what I'm going to continue to do, and appreciate it all. And we're going to see y'all in Atlanta. So, the Rattlers got a Rattler going in there. Y'all call it Tallahassee North in Atlanta. Well, the Bison going to travel deep down there when Jay Walker go in. So let's go at it again, baby.
All right, sounds good, Jay. Thank you.
All right, take care, Vaughn.
All right, Jay, good luck in all of that snow and continued success with your career. This past weekend, the American Baseball Coaches Association awarded Costa Pop Kittles, former FAMU baseball coach, with enshrinement into its Hall of Fame. There are only two major baseball halls of fame: the National Baseball Hall of Fame, which is for professional athletes, and the ABCA, which is for amateur athletes. And Coach Costa Pop Kittles was enshrined this past weekend in Washington, D.C.
Hall of Fame banquet presented by C&H Baseball. I'm Matt Noon, ABCA President and the head coach at Babson College. We are delighted to have you all here this evening to celebrate and honor some remarkable coaches that have made a lasting impact on our sport. Tonight, we honor 9 outstanding coaches for their invaluable contributions across all levels of the sport. I encourage everyone to follow along with tonight's ceremony and your banquet program to learn more about each of these incredible individuals.
Costa Pop Kittles. Costa was a standout football and baseball star at Florida A&M University in the late 1940s and early 1950s, before becoming one of the most successful head baseball coaches in the university's history. In 1950, Kittles earned All-American honors in football and was a formidable catcher for the baseball team. He joined Florida A&M staff in 1952 as an assistant football coach and physical education instructor, dedicating 40 years to FAMU athletics. In 1960, Kittles took over as the head baseball coach, guiding the Rattlers to their first of 7 consecutive Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference titles and 8 overall. Under his leadership, the team made 6 NAI district playoffs and reached the NAI World Series in 1962. With a remarkable coaching record of over 400 wins and a nearly 800 winning percentage, Kittles retired in 1982, having mentored 19 players who reached the professional leagues, including Hal McRae, Andre Dawson, Vince Coleman, and Bill Lucas, the first African-American executive in Major League Baseball. After retiring from coaching, Kittles continued to serve as an assistant professor at Florida A&M until 1995. His contributions were honored with induction into the Florida A&M Sports Hall of Fame in 1982, and in 1999, the university's baseball field was renamed the Moore Kittles Field in recognition of Kittles and his college coach, Dr. Oscar Moore. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in honoring the legacy of ABCA Hall of Fame inductee Costa Kittles with a round of applause.
What a great honor. I'm so happy for him, but I'm sad that he couldn't get it while he was still here. It's a great honor, not only for him, but for FAMU. And I'm just thrilled. When you looked at his record, when you looked at what he did for the community, and you look at the players that he had, not only as great players, but they're great men. Hal McRae, the Hawk, Vince Coleman, my goodness, great men, great leadership, Hall of Famers. What can you say? And they're all FAMU Rattlers. That's a great honor.
Coach Kittles was a special guy. We are honoring him today in the American Baseball Coaches Association. And Coach Kittles was just a special person to all of us because he took us all as his son. He was one of the few coaches that I've ever known. We did not know it at that time. He would check all of our schedules to see if we was online to graduate and taking the courses and in class. So he was a special guy, and I've always had the utmost love and respect for him.
Playing for Pop, Pop is a motivator, inspiring, cunning, no nonsense. It was like anytime doing very strategic, and he made you reach down inside yourself and find out what you were made of. He would challenge you. He would challenge you. No, you don't want to bet. Let me get this boy over here to play. Let me get this boy. No, Pop, I can do it, Pop. You know, he gets you that like, rah, I want to rush up there and get something done. And it was like he would take, and I took that with me, the way he coached. He wouldn't just give you the whole package, he would give you the parts. He would break down the hitting. He would break down the fielding. He would break down the throwing, the techniques. He'd go from the part and then put it all together for you. And so he give you a full package, and by the time, you know, we got ready to play against the opponent, we felt that we was the best thing out there on the field because we were prepared. We came prepared.
HBCU Game Day as we continue with the 2025 class of the Black College Football Hall of Fame. We have a former Rattler great, Jacquay Nunnally. Nunnally is known for breaking Jerry Rice's record, which was a hot record at the time. How you doing today, Jacquay?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, at the time it was a hot record, but now with the way, you know, everybody throwing the ball around, you know, that record long gone now.
No, but it was still amazing when it was broken. It was national news. You know, ESPN talked about it. Everybody talked about it when it happened. And, you know, what's amazing about it is in Billy Joe's Gulf Coast offense, there were a lot of great receivers on your team. And for you to stand, that's what makes it even more remarkable is that you played with some great guys and great quarterbacks.
Yeah, you know, that's true. You know, like I tell everybody to this day, I probably believe Kanan, you know, was just as good as me. You know, I got on the field a little bit before him. And then, you know, we had the complementary receivers, Demetrius, Cedric, you know, I don't know, Troy Hart, Robert Walton. You know, we had tons of receivers. And the thing that kind of worked out in our favor is everyone had a different skill set. And so, you know, we had the burners outside, you know, with John Rutledge, Marvin Teller. You know, they you know, cover people had to play over top of them for not give up a quick touchdown, which left, you know, underneath open for me and Kanan and some of the other guys. So, I was just blessed to come along at the right time, right place, right time type of situation.
And as we look back on that Billy Joe era, next to the Jake Gaither era, that was actually the premier era in FAMU football. And that says a lot. Coach Gaither was there 25 years. Coach Joe was not there that long, but the years that Coach Joe was there was very impactful in that it heightened the wins, getting to the playoffs, great players, and all those type things.
Yeah, like it's like to this, like nowadays, I laugh at some of the schools that that get in verbal arguments with with FAMU alumni. Hey, yeah, we own you guys, we can beat you guys, and I'm looking like what? Like Norfolk is like one of the, I guess they came along, South Carolina State, the Southerns, the Gramblings. I'm like, listen, I don't know what you're doing now. Listen, let me tell you about when I was there. When I was there, we ain't worried about all you guys. It was, who were playing in the playoffs this year. We didn't really look at black college as that we had to get through. Like we just thought in our minds, we were a little cocky. We were just a little bit. It was a little cocky, and we just knew, we were going to run through black college, and we're going to have to see what we got to do when we come to the playoffs.
And playing at FAMU, a historic university, how did you actually get to FAMU? Did Coach Joe and his team there, or was it your coach in high school?
See, man, Vaughn, I know you done read that story somewhere before. It was a big thing. Like, I was a lifelong Florida State fan. Coming up, I wanted to be Charlie Ward. I wanted to be, I wanted to be a Seminole. But my uncle, Darryl Pitts, he was on the FAMU team, in '78 when they beat UM. They won national championship and all this other stuff. So he always pushed FAMU and his friends and the friends of his friends and alumni. But I wanted to go to Florida State. But at the time, Florida State did recruit me. But when I came out, on my recruiting trip, I had a meeting with Coach Bowden and Mickey Andrews, I believe. And Chuck Amato was my recruiter, and he was like, listen, realistically, it's between you and this other guy. There's other guys rated a little bit higher than you. So we're going to see, what he does first and then come back around to you. And I just took that as a huge insult. I really did. And I was like, you know what? I don't even want to entertain you guys anymore. And then, I had my uncle and everybody pushing me for fam. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to show you. I'm gonna go right across the street and I'm going to show you what I can do. And it was kind of a pleasure. My senior year, Coach Bowden was coaching in the Hulu Bowl. He was the head coach. And he selected me as, one of the receivers. And when I met him at the Hula Bowl, the first thing he said, he was like, yeah, we made a mistake on you a couple years ago. So that was a little feather in my cap. But yeah, that's how I ended up the fam. Probably was one of the best decisions I made. I had a great recruiter, Coach Walter Highsmith. That year I came in, we brought in, I guess, on the all-state Florida team, we had maybe 7 or 8 people. Like our class, it was maybe at least 6 of us that no one thought would go to FAM. And then, during that time, it was just a revolving door. Everybody from South Florida, hey, look, hey, we going to FAM. And I believe, when we made that run, going back to, like you said, when we had to run with our Coach Joe, we had so many South Florida kids on that team. It was, it was a shame. It was, we do the South Florida picture, and it's 35 to 40 people in the picture.
Right.
So, yeah, it was different, but it was a good thing though.
And Walter Highsmith was a great recruiter. I've heard several stories about his recruiting, which we won't repeat in this program, but he did what he had to do to get you there.
yeah. Coach Highsmith, he put it this way, he told each player what they needed to hear to get them to the school. I'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that because I've heard some stories.
Right. And listen, and I assure you, they're probably all true. Yeah, he was he was a good one. He'll get you on campus now, and then forget about it when you get there. But hey, I love Coach Highsmith. I still talk to him every now and then on social media. You know, great guy, great coach. And then he also once coached, was the head coach of my high school at Edison.
Right.
So that kind of also was a link to bring me in also.
Yeah, it's so funny because I interviewed Larry Little over Thanksgiving, and he and Highsmith are so tight that he actually called Coach Highsmith. So it's just amazing how
Right.
all those greats in, which brings us back to the HBCU nation is actually really, really close. I mean, we battle each other, you know, and jab at each other. But Jay Walker and I were talking, you know, with Tennessee State was in the playoffs this year, I was pulling for them like I was a tiger. You know,
Right.
we battle against each other, but it truly is a family to be in HBCUs, and you gain brothers that you keep for life, and experiences that you keep for life. And so now in 2025, you're about to go in the Black College Football Hall of Fame. How did you get your notification?
It man, it was actually funny. A friend of mine sent me the nomination. They sent me the nomination like, "Hey, you up for the Black College Hall of Fame?" And you know, in my mind, first of all, I thought I was already in. I don't know why. In my mind, I thought I was already in. I know I'm in MEAC fam, and you know, never mind. I thought I was already in. So, but when I got it, I was like, I'm not already in. So then, I was talking
Yeah,
to
because I
another
think I
friend of mine.
asked you one time, and you said, "I think I'm already in there."
Yeah, I was like, you know, because I mean, listen, it's been a long time,
Right.
and I've been in a couple of Hall of Fame ceremonies, and but I know I was up for it before. So I was, you know, then you know when I started getting the calls from people, actually Doug Williams called me.
Oh wow.
So Doug Williams called me. So the friend of mine sent me the social media post on like maybe a Monday. So when Doug Williams called me on Wednesday, he was like, "Hey, I'm calling to congratulate you." So in my mind, he's congratulating me for the nomination. So I'm like, "Yeah, you know, I already knew. I seen it on social media." He was like, "Well," and he was like, "How does it feel to be a Hall of Famer?" And I'm like, "What? I'm okay. I'm lost. Back up a little bit." No, you actually made it in this time." And I was like, "So I'm not in." So I was like, "Oh man," you know, actually, you know, I had to take a minute, you know, and think about it. Um, And then he caught the pause. He caught the pause in my speech. Was like, you know what? I know it took us a long time to get you in. I'm like, dude, I'm still black college leading receiver, and it's been 20 plus years. And so I had different Hall of Fame people call me, and the first thing everybody always start with, "Hey, I'm sorry it took you so long to get in," and but I've always been a humble guy. So I'm like, man, listen, I'm just happy to be in it. You know, whether I got in this year, last year, or 10 years ago, I'm in. So, my friends and teammates, they're probably a little bit more offended than me. Once it actually came out, the different social media posts and, the outrage from just other people that know me. Like, how are you just not getting in? And I'm like, dude, it is what it is. And, they got to explain it like, it's kind of, NFL type thing. And, I didn't have the NFL career that some of the other Hall of Famers had. So, I know that kind of played a part in it. But hey, listen, I'm just happy to be there. Hey, I got there. 2025, 2026, it doesn't matter. I'm in.
Well, we're looking forward to being there. HBCU Game Day will be there to cover to see you guys go in. Uh, as far as you, Jay Walker, and Rasheem Mathis, I personally was able to see you all play, and so I'll be
Right.
really excited to see you all go in together. Um, uh, on behalf of HBCU Game Day, we're proud of you for representing the HBCU culture by being selected as one of the best to ever play in HBCU football.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. You always been, a friend of mine from when I played. We used to talk and joke all the time. So it's good, man. I'm happy to get there, man. I'm happy that you're still around, to even acknowledge it.
Absolutely. HBCU Game Day continuing our big show to start off January of 2025. Another Black College Football Hall of Famer for the class of 2025. We want to thank Jacquay Nunnally for taking time out to talk with us, and the show will continue.
Thank you. Strike, strike, strike again.
I have pictures of me sitting in the saddle with my dad, and so for as long as I can remember, I've been, riding horses, around horses, and it's something that, I grew up doing, and it's been, kind of just a way of life ever since I can remember. When I think about why I'm so passionate about cutting and why I'm so passionate about these horses and why, I have such a deep love for it, it's because it's something when I look back down our family line and our family history has always been, a part of the family. And understanding and knowing that family history and wanting to, be a link in the chain to carry it on is very important to me. And when I think about, what my life purpose is, that's something that, I think about, hey, I could spend time, working for another company, being in the office, which, I've done that and worked for, different teams and whatnot, but this is something that I will be able to be proud of for, the rest of my life. And I think about my great grandfather who was born in the late 1800s and in the early 1900s. He bought land in South Georgia. When you think about the early 1900s, as an African-American man in South Georgia, there was a lot of stuff that a black man had to deal with between segregation, Jim Crow, racism, lynchings, different things like that. And I think about, what he did during that time, and to be able to acquire the amount of land that he did, it was recorded that at the time of his death, he had and owned over 1,000 acres. These horses in the sport of cutting is just like football. It's just like sports. You're basically playing a defensive sport where you and your horse are a defender against, that cow, and you have to be able to stay in front of it. You have to be able to work those angles to where you're not overextending yourself, you're not overriding your horse, or just like if you're, on the line covering a receiver and you take a false step and lunging, now you're at a disadvantage, and you get beat a step. Now you're behind. You're either going to give up a touchdown, and it's the same thing in cutting. If you're out of position, if you're long on one side and you're short on the other side, and that cow has a step on you, then you're going to, from a judging standpoint, you're going to get dock points, or the equivalent to giving up a touchdown, you're going to get beat and you're going to lose the cow. Blount 47 Ranch, because that's something that embraces our family. The number 47 has been obviously important to us, with that being a number that my dad wore when he was playing football, and is a number that I wore in high school, wore it at FAMU, and then to see my brother wear it when he was at North Carolina Central, and now my daughter's wearing it playing softball. So 47 has now become a legacy number, for our family. And when I thought about what captures who we are, what is kind of like the name or the overarching umbrella, God kind of laid it on my heart to say this is, Blount 47 Ranch. It captures, it's all inclusive. It's you, your dad, his parents, your daughter. And I think about that. And then when you think about the number 47, we think about the number 7, this the number of completion. And in 7 days, God created the earth, and he said, I am well pleased, and he rested on the 7th day.
We save the best for last. Up next is the host of Have I Got News for You and his upcoming comedy special on Hulu. We have a friend of HBCU Gameday, Roy Wood Jr. Roy, how's it going today, man?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Well, good. I guess Hulu and everybody else is keeping you pretty busy nowadays, huh?
Yeah, they doing me good. They doing me good.
Well, it's just
good.
a few days before your special debuts. How are you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm excited. I'm very thankful. I'm blessed, man. I'm very blessed. One, to be able to get to my 4th special. A lot of cats don't. But to also be partnered with a company like Hulu, who is, as far as I can tell, so far, man, they've been going above and beyond with your boy, trying to make sure we get the word out and that people know, all of that. And so it's definitely been a beautiful thing.
You've had a great and interesting and winding journey to get to this point. Starting out in Tallahassee on a small radio station, uh, and then moving your way all the way up to being now on CNN with "Have I Got News for You," and which replays on Max, which my wife and I have to catch it on Max a lot of times because
Yeah,
we're
and
out.
that's fine. You know why? Because we come on a Saturday night at 9 o'clock at night. Folks is out in the club, or I'm sure you and the wife sitting back watching a Denzel movie from '97. Running back the classics. It's weird because we come on a Saturday and it's the weekend. You kind of want to forget about politics, and
Right,
you kind of want to
right.
unplug from that. But I'm just happy that our show is the silly one of all the political shows that are out there. It's the one that, like, hey, we just here for the jokes and we're gonna keep it moving.
Absolutely. And are your co-hosts, are they coming back? Because they are hilarious.
Oh yeah, the gang's all here. The
Oh,
gang's all here.
that's
So it's myself, Amber Ruffin, and Michael Ian Black, and we going right back hard in the paint. We're gonna see what this inauguration bring. But we're not back until February 15th. So we got a little bit of time to see how things start unfolding in the new administration.
it would be interesting to hang out with Amber. I'm just telling you, she is just off the chart. She looks like she always looking for a fun time. But
Oh, top notch.
and you have some great guests, a great diversity of guests on Have I Got News for You. So we're really proud of you for that. And your comedy special, that's so personal to comedians. Your special that comes out
Yeah,
because
Lonely
it's kind of like
Flowers.
boxing.
Yeah, you up there alone, man.
Yeah.
You alone, and it's instant feedback. Either they like you or you can get the hell on. Ain't no in between in stand-up comedy. So, I'm very, very grateful to be in a position where I can get on stage and still talk about some stuff. And I didn't even. And what's weird is that I did Daily Show for all that time, and I did, I've done all the CNN stuff for the last little while. I really, really have not taken for granted the ability to just get on stage in front of strangers. All the greats, when you look at George Carlin, when you look at Dick Gregory, these people died with dates on the books. Red Fox died with dates on the books. And that's a blessing. And I don't think it's something that I'll ever stop doing or ever really gravitate away from. But, we didn't get into no politics. I mean, a dash of politics. But for the most part, man, all I was talking about on this special was just connection. That's it.
Well, Roy, I have to say one of the funniest things you did was your bit where you brought out your FAMU diploma and then your mom called you and all of those kind of things. So just talk about was that an opportunity to get your HBCU on the front line, because that was funny.
Yeah, that was when we were talking about the that was a Daily Show segment. Actually, you can still find that on YouTube if you just Google my name plus Daily Show College. Where we talked about the worth of a college degree and whether or not a college degree still has worth. And I think what we ended up settling on was essentially it has worth, but the cost of education is no longer, there's an imbalance in the cost of education. But yeah, that was just a quick little shout out to my mom. Cause Black mamas, man, you can do David Letterman. You can have all these comedy specials. You can be in a multi-million-dollar television show. I got a movie with Keanu Reeves coming out later this year. Black mama only care about that degree. But is you smart, though? Is you smart? My mom ain't do all that marching for me to be in a movie with Keanu Reeves. She did that marching so I could get that education.
Yep, that's true. That's absolutely true. She wants to be able to brag to her sister friends and everything that you didn't just go to go to college, go to FAMU. You graduated and got that paper. Does she have it in her house or you got it?
You know what? I gave it to her for a while, and then when I got to New York and I had my son, I got a copy of it made. This is a little known fact about me when it comes to my FAMU graduation. I was so ready to just do comedy. I've been doing stand-up for 2 years while I was in college. I couldn't get no job in journalism after college because I hadn't done any internships. Like, I'd worked at the radio station with you and your brother, and Hot 105.7 gave me an opportunity to do radio news. But for what I was trying to go into was television. I had no TV experience, and no TV station would touch me because all I had was radio and print under my belt. Man, I had 5 gigs lined up the week of graduation. Also, graduation FAMU is outdoors. It's April. It's hot. Nobody wants to sit in that football field in that hot road with one Dasani for 3 hours. And I told my mom, I said, I got a gig. She said, you what? I said, I got a gig. I'm not coming to graduation. I'll give you the degree. I finished. The deal was if I finish college, you can't say nothing to me about comedy. That was the deal. She said, yeah. But, your parents want that. They want that, and my mom has never really asked me for anything. So if there's the one thing that I know that meant a lot to her, it was being able to attend my own graduation. And thankfully, the comedy show I had booked was canceled. I still think my mama had something to do with that. But about 2 weeks out, the gig canceled. And I told my mom, yeah, all right, I'll be there. Ain't nothing else going on in April. I can't pick up no work this close to graduation, no way. Come on down to Tallahassee.
Oh, that was a great time. Well, what can we expect on the new comedy special? It's just over a week out. What can we expect from Roy Wood Jr. to start off 2025?
You know what? I want people to watch Lonely Flowers on Hulu January 17th, and just remember that you ain't alone in everything that annoys you, man. I done started getting into it about self-checkout, and why the employee at self-checkout so rough? I'm helping you.
Right.
Then they come over to the kiosk and be like, get out the way, I'll scan it. Good. That's what I wanted in the first place. But you closed all the line. This might just be something in New York, but are they doing this down south yet where like you got to find somebody who got the key and then they be mad at you because you need the key?
Oh yeah.
I ain't tell you to lock up all this stuff.
They locking up everything, deodorant, everything. Well, Roy, we are looking forward to watching your special. It's titled again.
Oh, Lonely Flowers.
Lonely Flowers. All right, Lonely
Yes,
Flowers on Hulu. We're gonna check you out, and we can't wait for the next season of Have I Got News for You. Thanks. We call him a friend of HBCU Gameday because whenever we call, he answers the call.
I gotta ask you real quick.
Uh-oh.
Former NFL coaches and players coming to the SWAC and MEAC to coach. I feel like it's a net positive, even if they don't stay for a long, long time. What's been the consensus for you and your listeners on that? We talking Mike Vick, we talking Deshaun Jackson. Like, I don't know Deshaun Jackson has been coached his whole life. I feel like you can surround yourself with folks who know what they're doing, even if you don't know what you're doing. But I think if it helps recruiting and more importantly, bringing money into these schools, well, it might just have to be the new order of things.
Think about this. Andy Reid, the 2-time defending Super Bowl champion, made this statement about Norfolk State is lucky to have Michael Vick in this. If you think about the gravity, if it's done right, Jackson State capitalized off Prime, and they were able to maintain that and won the HBCU National Championship this year. I'm not going to say that's a Prime effect because everybody left with Prime because Coach T.C. Taylor actually built that team. But the visibility at Jackson State University when Prime was there, Good Morning America, just look at all of these things that happen at Jackson State.
And that may open up donorship and things like that.
And it did. Walmart gave them a surface practice field, an artificial practice field. Same thing can happen with these high-profile people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a positive. If you ask me, it's a positive to see this attention being brought, because now some people never knew there was a school called Norfolk State, but they know Michael Vick. So now they will have to learn about Norfolk State if they want to see what Michael Vick is doing. So it is a positive. And I just hope the schools continue to utilize that platform to advance the HBCUs, because it's publicity that none of our schools could afford.
Yeah, I hope they drop anchor and stay for a little while the way Eddie George has at Tennessee State. But we'll see. I meant to ask you about that.
Yeah, Eddie's done a wonderful job at Tennessee. I never pulled so hard for Tennessee State as I did when they were in the playoffs this year. HBCUs is like brothers and sisters. We gonna talk trash and fight among each other, but let one of us be against another school. All of us were Tennessee State Tigers when they were in the NCAA playoffs this year, and that's just what happens with HBCUs.
Yes, indeed.
We brothers like brothers and sisters. Me and my brother sister can fight all day, but boy, if somebody from outside says one word,
only family talk about family.
That's right. Well, once again, thank you, Roy Wood
Thank
Jr.
you.
for joining us. We can't wait till January 17th and then in February for your show to come back. Continue to be great. Continue to represent our HBCU. You represent all HBCUs, and we just appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me back on.
Thank you all for joining us for this special to kick off 2025 on HBCU Game Day. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure you subscribe and like and share this content. And don't forget to follow us at HBCUGameday.com for all of the information about HBCU sports and culture.